Okay. Can you hold the sign up more? Hold the sign up. Yeah, and smile. Smile. Yeah. Okay, that was great. All right, now come over here. Can you do the? Yeah, closer.
I don't want to hold this for the announcements.
It'll be fine.
Don't make me hold these for the announcements, Sarah.
So here, pick up the sign. More. Yep. All right, let's go.
Hi, I'm Sawyer, and these are your announcements. This Wednesday, we've got a CPR class open to any of our volunteers, and that'll be at 1 p.m. Children's Ministry volunteers, we're developing something new called FCC Buddies. We're going to have a meeting on it after second service on August 16th. Contact Katie Bolts if you have any questions. On August 22nd, our women's ministry is meeting at Muddy Water for coffee and calendars. Check your bulletin for more information. Our fall kickoff for children's and student ministry is on August 26th. The week after that, on September 2nd, the rest of our Wednesday night programming will start, including meals. There's sign-up sheets out in the lobby for a bunch of different small groups. We'd really encourage you to check that out, and we'd love for you to be a part of one. We're having a golf scramble on September 26th. This is to help support our missions here at FCC. If that's something you'd like to be a part of, check your bulletin for more information. Every year our church goes on a mission trip, and this year we're going to the Dominican Republic in February. We'd love for you to join us with that, and if that's something you're interested in, contact Jeff Cole or the church office. This was my last week of the summer internship. I just want to say a big thank you to all of you, to the church, for helping give me this opportunity. It was just a really great experience to be able to work alongside Sarah and help with our student ministry and our summer youth group. I learned a lot, got a lot of awesome experience that I know will really help me and has helped prepare me for a career in student ministry and going off to Ozark. I just am thankful for the investment our church puts into the next generation, and I would just encourage you to keep supporting our student ministry. So, big thank you. FCC, those are all your announcements. Have a great week.
Good morning, FCC. Would you stand with us as we start our worship service?
The Lord is King. Let the earth rejoice. Let the farthest coastlands be glad. Psalms 97:1.
The Lord is King. Let the nations tremble. He sits on his throne between the cherubim. Let the whole earth quake. Psalms 99:1.
In the kingdom of light, in the kingdom
going through in life and the circumstances surrounding us, we know that you have us in the palm of your hands, that you saved us, and that you have all authority. Father, help us to sit in those promises today. Father, that you love us so much that you sent Jesus to die for us. And Father, that nothing in this world can ever separate us from the love of Christ. It's in his name we pray. Amen. You may be seated.
Last week, we began a series in what I call the graphic, dramatic novel of the Old Testament. It's a book called Esther. And we first began on this story that it almost plays out like a screenplay. We started out with meeting a man named King Xerxes. And Xerxes threw a 180-day party. It seems he really likes the party because then he celebrated that 180-day party with a 7-day party after that. And after 187 days, he's had too much to drink. He calls for his wife, Queen Vashti, to come in and do a dance for his drunk buddies. And this beautiful woman, she's strong. She refuses to come in. She refuses to dance for the king. And so he banishes her from the kingdom. Then we meet another guy, right? And his name is Mordecai. And Mordecai is a Jewish man who is living in exile in this land called Persia, this Persian Empire. And it turns out it's huge, the Persian Empire. And this guy, Xerxes that we were talking about, so powerful. But Mordecai is a Jewish man who is exiled in Persia, and Mordecai has been raising this young lady named Esther as his own daughter. It turns out Esther is actually his cousin. Her parents died when she was presumably quite young, and so her older cousin Mordecai has been raising her as his own. And the king decides then that he needs to replace Queen Vashti, his queen who he had banished because of her refusal to dance for him, for his friends. And so what they decide to do is that they're going to have a beauty pageant. We called it like the very first season of The Bachelor, right? It's basically what they've decided to do. And so he's going to have this beauty pageant to choose a new queen. And Mordecai enters his beautiful cousin Esther into this beauty pageant. Neither King Xerxes nor any of his cabinet of officials, none of them know, though, right, that Esther is a Jewish girl. They have no idea of her faith in the one true God. Esther wins the pageant. She will be the next queen, Queen Esther, and that's where we left off. This week, if you want to follow along, you can open to Esther chapter 3. Esther chapter 3 is where we're picking up this story, and we'll call it Act 2. We're going to introduce a new character right off the bat here at the beginning of Act 2. The man that we meet here at the beginning of chapter 3 is a man named Haman. Okay, and Haman's a bad dude. All right, Haman, he is the villain in this story for sure. He's the kind of guy you love to hate. And at first, he may not even seem like he's all that bad, but as the story goes on, it just keeps getting worse with Haman. We learn about Haman's position in verse 1 of chapter 3. It says, after these things, King Xerxes promoted Haman, the Agagite, the son of Hammedatha, and advanced him and set his throne above all the officials who were with him. So Haman is now second in all the land. You understand that? He is second in command to King Xerxes. He is his chief advisor. And very quickly we learn about Haman's character. He's a bit of a narcissistic egomaniac. Okay, when one person doesn't bow down to Haman, he loses his mind. Look at verse 2. All the king's servants who were at the king's gate bowed down and paid homage to Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai did not bow down or pay homage. It's important here that you understand that even though Mordecai is the new queen's cousin and the one who has been raising her, Haman has no idea about any of that. Haman does not know who this man is. He's enraged about Mordecai not bowing down. And next we find out that it's worse. Haman's not just got an ego problem, but he's a racist. Look at verses 5 and 6. When Haman saw that Mordecai did not bow down and did not pay homage to him, Haman was filled with fury, but he disdained to lay hands on Mordecai alone. So as they had made known to him the people of Mordecai, Haman sought to destroy all the Jews, the people of Mordecai, throughout the whole kingdom of Xerxes. Haman decides, you know what, I don't just hate this man who won't bow down to me, I hate all of his people. They're all the same. I hate all of the Jews, and he decides that he's not only going to kill Mordecai, he wants to kill their entire race. And Haman goes before the king with a proposal to have all the Jews killed. Look at verse 9. If it pleases the king, let it be decreed that the Jews be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver into the hands of those who have charge of the king's business, that they may put it into the king's treasuries. Understand, it turns out that 10,000 talents of silver is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Greek historian Herodotus would say later that the annual budget for Persia was around 15,000 talents of silver. So 2/3 of their annual budget is what Haman has just said he will pay into the treasury if the king signs off on this edict. Listen, Ron Julius came up to me after first service and he said, I was curious. I just typed it in just to see how much that would be in today's world. This 10,000 talents of silver would be the equivalent of $700 million today. Now, maybe you're thinking the same thing I was reading this story. How in the world is Haman coming up with that kind of money? Well, Haman's got a plan. See, here's what he's thinking. Haman is thinking, King, here's what I want to do. King Xerxes, let's have a holiday. Okay? We're going to have a holiday throughout the entire empire. We'll call it Kill a Jew Day. And on this day, anybody can kill any Jewish person, and we will take all the money from those people who die. Surely it will be more than 10,000 talents, and we'll stuff that into the treasury. So he isn't planning on having to pay anything. He's planning on taking it from the people that he's killing and then giving it. I don't want to say somehow he persuades the king. King Xerxes seems persuadable, does he not, at this point? He tends to drink to the point that he can be easily persuaded, it seems. And so I'm not sure exactly what happens here and why, but as Haman brings this idea to the king to purge all of the Jews, King Xerxes signs this edict into law. Now, I just want you to consider with me for a moment how this is being processed by the Jewish people. I mean, we know their story. We know who they are. These are God's people. These are his chosen race. And they must be terrified, but they also must be confused because of that. Because they are God's chosen people, they're the people who worship and recognize the one true God. Why would God be allowing something like this to happen to them? And not only that, think about it. I mean, surely they've been praying for freedom, right? I mean, surely it has been their prayer, God, deliver us from the Persians, set us free from this foreign land. We see that all throughout the Old Testament when God's people are in exile. It wouldn't be any different now. And not only is God not answering their prayer, he is allowing the opposite of what they've been asking for to happen. You ever been there? You ever been there where, man, you've been praying, and it is one thing for God to say no to your prayer, but it's another thing for the exact opposite to be allowed to happen. The Jews are thinking that if they're following God, then things should be lining up for them. They should be experiencing favor, right? What we've already recognized from the beginning of this series is, we talked about it significantly last week, that God's name is not mentioned in the book of Esther. It's like the only book in all of the Bible where his name is not written, spoken. And even though we don't read the name of God, and even though God doesn't show his presence, his power is at work behind the scenes, is it not? I mean, clearly it is. God is bringing things together in a way that doesn't seem obvious in the moment, but in hindsight, it's inescapable. God is accomplishing his purpose, even though it doesn't always feel like it in the moment. In the moment, it can feel like you're asking and he's saying no. So he must not care, right? I want you to imagine this with me for a moment. Would you imagine that you're a young child? You're a young child and you've been asking your parents all week to go to the water park. This happens in houses with young children, trust me. All week, can we go to the water park? Can I have a friend over to go to the water park? And the weekend comes and the answer is no. And you've also been asking, you know what, Mom and Dad, school's getting ready to start. Can we get like new clothes, like maybe a new wardrobe? Because school's starting and that's a good excuse for it. And because school's starting and it's close, like I want to go out with my friends to eat a few times this week. And here's the thing. You're getting a lot of no's. First service, my daughter Lily was sitting right here on the front row. I looked down there. She would look down the entire time, but she was kind of bouncing because she was laughing because she's experienced this kind of thing. And if this kind of thing is true, and my daughters are in this room right now, here's what I want you to know. This is a fictional story, so don't latch on to this next part. But what I want you to do with your imagination with me here for a moment is, as you've been asking for this stuff and you've been hearing no, what you don't know is that your parents are planning a really cool vacation for you and your family next summer. And so to save money for that vacation, they're eating out less. They're trying to spend less on clothes and other similar things in order to save for that vacation. And so to you, the no's that are right in front of you are all that you see. And all you're seeing is no. All you're hearing is no. And you're losing your mind in fits of anger and frustration. You're about to throw a tantrum, actually, is what's about to happen. And you're just hearing no. But all along, what you can't see is that the no in front of you is because your parents have a bigger yes in the future. See, sometimes God says no because there's a bigger picture that he's focused on. And while you're thinking about a minor detail, he's got something way bigger in mind. Sometimes the bigger thing he has in mind, we might not even see it this side of heaven. But in our childlike faith, we need to always be sure that God is working behind the scenes, that he's not absent, that he's not caring. He's behind the scenes, as we said last week, keeping watch over his own. Next scene, chapter 4, opens up with Mordecai throwing a fit. much like the one I was just describing in Esther 4:1, when Mordecai learned all that had been done, Mordecai tore his clothes, he put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the midst of the city, and he cried out in a loud and bitter cry. See, Mordecai hears the news about exterminating the Jews. He's beside himself now, and then he remembers. And then he remembers Esther and the position that she's been put in, right? He remembers, oh, she's the queen. Maybe she can do something about this. Maybe the king will listen to her. Maybe she can speak up for the people that can't speak for themselves. But also, you need to remember this, right? We said this last week. They have hidden her Jewishness. So the king doesn't even know that she's Jewish. But Mordecai decides that he's got to persuade Esther to go before the king and to beg for mercy. Now, we would expect Esther to storm in there, to go before the king, to make her case, and to demand that he would reconsider. But what we have to realize is that the queen is not allowed into the presence of the king unless she is summoned. It's in their law. It would be illegal for her to just go in there to talk to the king unless she has been invited in. It wouldn't just be impolite for her. It would, in some cases, cost her life, and very likely, at the very least, right, she'd probably be banished. We've already seen that sort of thing happen with King Xerxes, and so she tells Mordecai, I can't do it. I know from where you sit, it looks like I should be in a position to do something, but I don't have any power here. I can't go before the king unless I'm invited to go in, and this is a crushing blow. Okay, you got to understand, at this point in the story, it seems that there is no hope for the Jewish race. And look at how Mordecai responds to King Esther saying no. And his response starts in verse 12. They told Mordecai what Esther had said, and then Mordecai told them to reply to Esther, do not think to yourself that in the king's palace you will escape any more than all the other Jews. For if you keep silent at this time, relief and deliverance will rise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Mordecai challenges Esther. Challenges her to think about God's plan for her life. He says, look, you can say no to this, but understand God will still accomplish his purpose whether you're on board or not. You can miss out on God's plan and his purposes will still prevail. God's purposes, we know this, right? God's purposes don't hinge on any person coming alongside him to help him, do they? God's going to do what God's going to do. But this is what we tend to do, right? We think about God's story and how he's writing it, and we tend to put ourselves as the main characters, thinking that God needs our help to accomplish his purposes, but he does not. We tend to find ourselves asking this question. Am I missing God's plan for my life? You ever ask that question? You ever wonder that? Am I totally missing God's plan for my life? People miss God's plan. They do. It happens. People miss the plan that God has for them for many different reasons. Reasons like apathy and arrogance and ignorance. For reasons like rebellion, right? Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And you can miss God's plan for your life, but it doesn't mean that his purposes will change. He will accomplish what he wants to accomplish. And while you can miss his plan for your life up to this point, here's the really beautiful thing, and I don't want you to walk away missing this today. The really beautiful thing about his plan for your life is you can find it today. Even if you've been running from it, even if you, to this point in your life, have said, I want nothing to do with God's plan, you can decide today, and his plan will meet you right where you are. I've watched this in so many people's lives. I brought up last week that what's been really fun for me here is that God has given me opportunities to see people find God's plan for their lives, including our staff. It's so awesome. You could miss out on his plan your whole life up to now. But it's something you can get in on today. But I want to spell out some reasons why. Some reasons why I think there might be people here today who will still walk away and say, I don't think I can. Let me tell you some reasons. The first reason is because of resentment toward God. It's real. I know it's real. Why should you have to change your plans when it seems like God hasn't done what he should have been doing? Right? Some things have happened to you in your life, just like they did to Esther, that are out of your control. She lost her parents young. And it's hard. And why did this have to happen to God, to you? Why did this have to happen to me, God? What? Why did you could have, God? Why didn't you? And so you're upset with God. You're living with bitterness toward him. You blame him and hold him responsible for what's been happening to you throughout your life. Proverbs 19:3. We spent this summer looking at the Proverbs. Proverbs 19:3. When a man's folly brings his way to ruin, his heart rages against the Lord. Let me give you another translation to this verse. What a moment of wisdom here. When our own foolishness ruins our lives, we blame God. That's what we do. And maybe that's more of our stories than we're willing to admit. Instead of taking responsibility for our own decisions or realizing that there are others who made decisions and giving them responsibility for it, we've decided that it's God's. And we've said it is his fault and we don't want anything to do with him. Another reason people will leave here today and will miss God's plans for their lives is because of the distractions in our culture. And there are a lot of them, right? Just while we're here, your phone is buzzing, your watch is vibrating, all of your screens at home are queued up and ready to play the next video in line, and we're constantly being pulled in a ton of different directions. What would it be like? Would you think about it with me for just a moment? What would it be like to go from being a poor orphan girl in exile to living in a palace as the queen? And that's a major life change. Esther has servants now. Esther has servants now. Esther wears the finest clothes now. Esther has gourmet meals every day now. And now she's presented with what might be God's plan for her, but there is no way to reach out and grab a hold of it without risking all of those luxuries. See, saying yes to God's plan for her might mean losing all of the really nice things and all of the comfort that they provide. And that's hard to do. You get what I'm saying? You could say yes to God's plan today, but for you, maybe to say yes to God's plan, to what he has for you would mean saying no to all of your plans. And saying no to all of the things that you've worked for and all of the comforts that you've provided. The things that you're enjoying and honestly, that's just hard. It flows into the next reason I would give. See, for some today, they will miss God's plan because of fear of commitment. This is so huge in our culture right now. I know that this is a big deal for you. It's a big deal for all of us. A lot of people, I want you to hear this statement, so I will repeat it twice. A lot of people want to be a part of something significant, but they don't want to commit to something significant. Let me say that again. A lot of people want to be a part of something significant without having to commit to something significant. I want to be a part of God's plan, but I want to stay right where I'm at. I want to stay with all of my comfort intact. I'm afraid of what it means for my life if I say yes to God. I'm afraid of where he might send me. I'm afraid of what he might ask of me. I'm afraid of what I might have to give up. I'm not sure I want to make that commitment right now. I'm not sure I have that kind of sacrifice in me. And maybe what it is we're just asking the wrong question here. See, maybe we should be asking a different question first. Instead of, God, what's your plan for my life? Maybe a good place for a lot of us to start, maybe a good place for all of us to start would be asking the question, God, what's not your plan for my life? You want to get to what God's plan is? Start with what you know isn't. Because there's some things he's made clear aren't his plan for you. Instead of asking God, what do you want for me? Maybe you need to ask God, what do you not want for me? See, it's like this. If you decide today, if you decided, you know what, man, I'm not in a good place health-wise. I need to do something about that. I'm going to commit to a new diet plan. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of things available, but you're going to look into this tonight. You're going to make a decision. And so let me suggest to you what you don't do. Don't go home tonight and sit at the kitchen island and go, all right, I'm going to start looking at these plans over a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I'm going to figure out what the diet plan is going to be. I mean, does anybody else think about that and go, well, that's absurd? I'm going to start a diet, I guess tomorrow, because the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, somebody's got to eat it, right? And as absurd as that might sound to us, can I just tell you how absurd some of the things I hear are about God's plan? Asking for God's plan, but having zero thought about what he doesn't want for you that you're already doing. For instance, you know what? Don't pray for a future spouse and then date someone who disagrees with your faith. That is absurd. That's a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch on a diet. You know what? Don't ask for clarity about God's purpose in your life and then all the while not serve him in any way in your church or in his kingdom. It's absurd. Don't ask God how to make a difference. Don't ask him, God, how can I make a difference in someone's life when you're sitting and binging Netflix all day, every day. Don't wonder why you can't hear God's voice in your life when you don't take any time to pray or read his word. That's absurd. And don't ask God to help you be a light in the world. This one's tough. Don't ask God to make you a light in the world when all of your group chats you're contributing to the gossip. Can I just lean into that one for just a second and tell you that praying hands emoji doesn't excuse all of your gossip? I know you think it might. Let me tell you how absurd it actually looks. Jack and I just had this experience. It dawned on me as we were standing in line. We had gone out with the seniors group in our church on a recent lunch outing. We're in a restaurant that is clearly, it's Christian run, and we're in line to check out. And as I'm standing there, I'm seeing these signs that they have that you can buy, signs that say, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound," and "Love God, love your neighbor." They're done perfectly. They would look great hanging in front of your shiplap at home. Like, they are perfect, except for, can I just point out to you the third sign that then catches my eye? I pointed it out to Jack. Here it was. Look at this sign. Our porch. Sit, relax, gossip. Nothing wrong with your porch. Nothing wrong with sitting and relaxing. Is gossip not a sin anymore? What exactly are we doing making light of that? It's bad. It's super bad and it's out of control. Proverbs 26 says gossip is like tasty morsels that go deep into your inmost parts. They destroy people from the inside out. They wreck relationships from the inside out. You know what? If you have something to say about somebody, you better be saying it to their face. If you wouldn't, I'm sorry, but shut your mouth. Put your thumbs away. Don't try to figure out God's plan in your life if you're going to keep doing things that He clearly says aren't His plan. Look at Mordecai's words again. And who knows, church, who knows?